Okay, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the routine weekly briefing for Central North Carolina, covering the period from today, January 25th, through Wednesday, January 31st, 2024. I'm meteorologist Jimmy Danko. And first, taking a look at the North Carolina drought update that was actually just released this morning. And this is for the period ending on Tuesday. Still no drought concerns or even abnormally dry conditions across any parts of Central North Carolina. The only continued abnormally dry or moderate drought conditions are in the far western parts of the state. And in fact, stream flows along the Cape Fear lumber rivers down the Sandhills are actually above normal for this time of year. And many reservoirs remain above their targets. And that's even despite last week being drier than normal. But we had such a wet start to the winter that we're not having any concerns as far as drought goes. Looking at the next week for the area, the weather pattern overall, it looks fairly active to start, and then we quiet out next week. So we have a cold front that will be approaching from the north and west, currently draped across the Mississippi and Ohio valleys today. And that will bring some light showers across mostly the Piedmont today, and continued into tomorrow, although it looks like actually lesser amounts tomorrow. It looks very light. And also some, again, patchy drizzle and maybe some isolated patchy fog tonight. And then a better chance of rain actually comes on Saturday as the front kind of moves very slowly or stalls out across our area and a wave of low pressure rides along it. And that brings more widespread showers and maybe a few storms on Saturday and Saturday night and into early Sunday before exiting in the afternoon and evening on Sunday. And then it looks dry as high pressure builds in from Monday through Wednesday of next week. Temperatures will be very warm through the weekend with highs in the 60s and 70s. And lows only getting down even into the 50s to lower 60s. It's going to be very, very mild, and maybe even some record highs threatened. The record high for today at Fayetteville is 78, and they may get close to that. But then starting on Monday, behind the cold front, as that system exits and cooler high pressure builds in, temperatures drop back down to near normal with highs into the 50s. So looking at the rainfall expected amounts for the next week, generally a 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch is expected today across the northwest Piedmont, decreasing as you go south and east, 1/4 to 1/2 inch elsewhere. Tomorrow really only looks like 1/10 to 1/4 inch at most across the area, so lesser amounts. But then Saturday we get a pretty good amount of rain, 1 to 1.5 inches from Saturday into early Sunday. But then we dry out after that. So 7-day totals are about 1 to 2.5 inches, highest over the Piedmont. So it is looking like a wet period for the next few days. However, there is no risk of any severe storms. It looks like the limiting factor is instability. It looks very weak at best. Still can't rule out some isolated thunder though over the next few days, but not really concerned about severe storms at this time. And looking at the excessive rainfall outlook, it looks like actually the new excessive rainfall outlook was just posted and from the Weather Prediction Center, and they pretty much took our area out of the marginal risk, level 1 risk for excessive rain for today, which I agree with. It looks like the amounts are not going to be enough to really warrant any flooding concerns, and the rates don't look high enough. So not really concerned about any flooding today, and not tomorrow either. Amounts certainly are not going to be high enough for any concerns there. Saturday, however, there is a marginal risk, a level 1 risk for excessive rain across most of the area outside of the far southeast, with amounts significantly higher. We're expecting at or exceeding an inch. Still not looking like a major threat, but with rivers running high, especially given all the recent rain, it is certainly a possibility. And then looking beyond from February 1st through the 7th, the 8 to 14 day outlook. This is from the Climate Prediction Center. Unfortunately, if you like snow, this is not what you want to see. There's a 50 to 70% chance of above normal temperatures across central North Carolina, and slightly increased chances of below normal precipitation as well. And then the graphical hazardous weather outlook, you can see really no major concerns over the next week. There is a very limited threat for excessive rain on Saturday, and really today it's not looking like anything. Lightning, there is a limited threat for that beginning tomorrow going into the weekend, but again, any storms would be very isolated. All right, so to summarize, an approaching cold front will bring periods of light showers to central North Carolina today, especially over the Piedmont, and to a lesser extent tomorrow. And then a wave of low pressure will bring a better chance of more widespread showers and maybe even a few storms Saturday and Saturday night. High pressure brings dry weather from Monday through Wednesday. Temperatures well above normal the next few days. Highs in the 60s, upper 60s to low 70s in Raleigh, for example, and lows only tonight in the mid 60s, which is just remarkably high. That's like 30 plus degrees above normal. More typical for the summertime. And then we start to finally cool off back to near normal next week. And really the only hazard and impact could be some heavy rain and isolated urban and small stream flooding Saturday and Saturday night. But this looks pretty limited, and not expecting major concerns as far as river flooding, although minor flooding can't be entirely ruled out either on some of the mainstream rivers. All right, that wraps up the weekly briefing. Does anyone have any questions?